if your business isn't growing. People do not know you exist.
Everybody wants to see new revenue come in their door, and they want it to be quick, and they want it to be efficient. But at the end of the day, that's not how marketing works.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Local Growth Show. I'm your host, as always, Kody Fitzjerrells, and today I am joined by James Smithers, who is one of our sales executives here at our ad agency, Omni Digital Group, and wanted to bring him on the show. You know, he's every single day, he's talking day in, day out with retailers, local businesses, and people that are just in the trenches, certainly about their marketing, but it's always getting that insight of kind of the state of the union, if you will, the state of local, what we'll title this podcast episode. But just wanted to bring him on just to talk about some of the things that local businesses are talking about, the things certainly they're bringing up with their marketing, how they're growing, but also just other things that they're facing out there in the marketplace right now. So James Smithers, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm really excited to chat with you, and I definitely do hear a lot from all the industry folks that I talk to, whether it's a jewelry store, an outdoor store, a menswear store, a comfort shoe store, a running shoe store. You know, the challenges and problems they face are very similar. You know, obviously each sub-industry within retail has its differences, but at the end of the day, the core issues and problems that they're facing is the same across the board. And it's really interesting to see what people are doing to help combat that. I mean, the biggest thing that comes to my head, you know, right away is a lot of individuals that we talk to on the phone have had, you know, past experiences with agencies. They've hired somebody internally to do the marketing and do the organic posting, and they're always looking for the quickest avenue to fix a problem that is a large problem to fix. And they'll get an individual like this in place or an agency. They'll try them out for a while. They won't see hundreds of thousands of dollars of new revenue walk through the door, and then they'll give up. And then when they talk to a feller like me, their first statement is, hey, we've tried this before and it doesn't work. But when you quickly unwrap, you know, that statement that this retailer, you know, has said, you kind of realize that they were doing it all wrong to begin with. And it's not their fault. I mean, digital marketing in its entirety has become extremely, extremely difficult to navigate. And even for an agency like us, you know, we've had a lot of growing pains over the years trying to figure out what's going to work the best for our clients. And what we've kind of found recently is, especially in the last 3 to 5 years, you have a couple things that are happening. One, you have an enormous amount of individuals that are now marketing on Facebook and Instagram compared to, let's just say 2016, let's just go back a decade. Now you have everybody and their mother advertising on Facebook and Instagram, and the market is very saturated. So a organic post that you put, you know, $100 to $200 to boost 5 years ago might have resulted in a few new customers walking through the door, and it might have been great, and you said, hey, this was worth it. But now when you try to do that, absolutely nothing happens, and you feel like you're wasting your money. So I think one of the biggest issues that these retailers are facing is what do I do? Where do I start? And that is, you know, one of the biggest questions I get is, hey, James, what can I do with $0 and what can I do with $10,000 a month? One of the biggest things that I tell these retailers to focus on is the consistency and longevity behind doing the organic posting, running paid ads, doing email campaigns, doing SMS campaigns. What I always tell them is when you focus too much on the numbers, you get to a point on a month-to-month or quarter-to-quarter basis where you are basing all of the success for the marketing that you're doing off of the numbers. And yes, everybody wants to see new revenue come in their door, and they want it to be quick, and they want it to be efficient. But at the end of the day, that's not how marketing works. You have to be consistent over a long period of time to see the incremental results. Where if a client came to me today and said, hey, James, you know, what do? I would say just start being consistent and start layering on different forms of marketing as you go forward, and make sure that there's no stone left unturned when you're marketing to your existing customers and anybody new in their area. You want to be the face in your specific area of what you sell. So when an individual in your area thinks about shoes, they think about you and they want to go to your store. I think during the time period of COVID-19, I think a lot of people wanted to remain indoors. They wanted to do a lot of their shopping online. They didn't want to have these interactions with other people as much. But now that that's all over, I think people are realizing how important those physical interactions are. And especially in the spaces that we work in, like jewelry or shoes or furniture, those are purchases that you want to make in store with an individual that can help guide you through the buying process. And if you're a marketer for your independently owned business and you're consistently in front of your audiences and reminding them that they can have this great experience in store, I think over time you are going to gain that mind share that's so important to consistently driving foot traffic into your location. And then people will be reminded at that point how amazing the experience is of going in store and purchasing an item. So to kind of wrap up my first point, the marketer that's consistent and does it over a long period of time and doesn't wrap their whole entire focus around the numbers will ultimately be the winner in their own space with what they sell.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, I think that translates well to something I would mention, which as you know, one of the things that I love in business to do is to find frameworks. Like you have to almost be on the right path to find the right framework. Like I heard this put actually just yesterday, I was talking into an individual, and this is very random, but it was like, if you want to heal the body, like you have to, and I love how he put this, you have to like work with the laws of nature. Like you have to do the things that would make your body heal. It's the right inputs to get the right output. And when you think about business, there is so many different inputs people think that they can make, but I love boiling it down to two specific things that I'll highlight quickly. I heard this probably 12 years ago. It was one of the most biggest mindset shifts that I've ever had when it comes to business, and that was there's only 3 ways to grow a business. And I love asking people that question, and even like I said the number 3, but like think about you listening to this or watching this. Like if I were to ask you, how many different ways are there to grow a business? Most people would be like, oh, geez, a lot. I mean, you got this and that and that and this and this and that. And it's like, no, there's only 3. You can get more new customers, get them to come more frequently, and buy more when they're there. I don't care if you're a service business, product business, in-store, online, doesn't matter. There's only those 3. So let's break that down. You get more new customers. We'll talk about that in a second, the most innovative ways to do it. You can get them to come back more frequently, which is an existing customer. And then when they are in your doors, do they buy 1 item, 2 item, 3 item? Do you increase the ticket 20%, 50%, 100%? All of those 3 things are like a multiplier effect when you look at all of them. But then put another way as well, which we'll break that down in a second. Let's put that aside. The other thing is there's only 4 things you can do to get those 3 things to happen and to move. And that's, you can go with your warm market. Like that would be like a referral. Let's put it through the lens of a shoe retailer. You got your warm market. Somebody refers me into James's shoe store. Cool. That's number 1. Or I reach out to, let's say I'm an employee at that store. I reach out to like the 50 people on my phone. Hey, I'm working today. Come by my shoe store. There you go. It's your warm market. Number 2 is organic content. It's free. You can post it on any single social media platform. You can do your blog content. You can put new stuff on your website. It's stuff that, let's classify it as free. And that is like, I mean, when you really think about upwards of 15 years ago, that didn't exist. There was nothing you could do for advertising that was free. Even putting up a sign outside of your store on the grass saying, hey, sale today, cost you $5. You know what I mean? Like going right now, opening up Facebook, posting, come to my shoe store today, we're having a sale, cost you $0, besides what you're paying for your phone, I guess. Number 3 is paid ads, which is what we specialize in, which is the most effective with targeting, but it costs money. We'll break that down in a second. And then number 4 doesn't apply so much to retailers, is cold marketing, which would be more like cold calling, like what you specialize in. It's cold outreach would be the way to put it.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 ways you can grow a business. Those are the 4 things you can do within those 3 to grow. In operating with those two frameworks, you can navigate that to grow your business. And if we start with what you were talking about, which is to be consistent, let's work within these two frameworks within a lot of these points we'll make. So the more consistent you are, the more trust you're going to build in your local marketplace, which is going to lead to you being the one that actually is where the purchase happens when somebody thinks of your business. I was literally just talking to a company yesterday, and I was like, my number one goal with you, literally I have one goal, is to make you the most known on Facebook. That's it. Because if you are the most known, you will grow your business. Mm-hmm. Alex Hormozi puts it the best. You have a awareness problem if your business isn't growing. People do not know you exist. And especially if you're a local business, your buying radius is very predefined. It's not like somebody's coming from New York City to shop at your business in St. Louis. Like, it's people in St. Louis that are going to shop at your ice cream shop or your jewelry store, right? And that's the thing you have to ask yourself. Are you being consistent enough in the marketplace to even give yourself a chance to get the sale of a brand new customer walking through your doors?
Yeah. And most people aren't. And I mean, you're completely right. And I mean, those are some unbelievable avenues for people to go down. And, you know, I think what a lot of people, you know, oftentimes ask, and, you know, I was even having a conversation with one of our clients this morning, and it's, you know, like, hey, James, like, how am I going to compete with the big box locations and the brands directly? And it kind of goes back to what I hinted at earlier, was the marketer that wins in 2026 isn't the marketer with the most money. It's the marketer that's the smartest. And you can do that, and you can win as the small independent retailer against those big brands and big box locations by doing a number of different things, but also realizing what the big box locations and the brands do for their marketing. And my mom was the CMO for United Airlines for a number of years, and she has held high up marketing positions in a lot of corporate companies across America. And the way that they operate is pretty simple. They throw a ton of money at some campaigns that they know are going to resonate with specific groups of their audiences, and they accept the fact that they're going to get a 3 to 4% return on their marketing endeavors each year, and they wrap it up, and we're good to go. But when it comes to the small independent retailers, they don't have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to blanket market across the United States or their state or their local area, whatever it may be. But the way that the smaller retailers can win in this space is having a more intelligent and data-driven look on the marketing that they do. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be working with an agency like us or another agency that does, you know, data-driven marketing. The first step you'd want to take is understanding the data that you do have in your point of sale. I always coin it to my clients and prospects that I talk to on the phone. I always say it's like you're planting flowers in your backyard, and suddenly you dig deep enough and you find a huge block of gold. And you're like, oh my God, I've been sitting on this the whole entire time. Like, how did I not know this was here? And if that's the same thing as your point of sale data, those big brands and big box locations would play an arm and a leg for the data that you have on your customers, because it's congruent to your area, it's true, and it's something they can use to get the individuals that have shopped with you to then go shop with them. So if you're able to utilize your data in the marketing process, whether it's exporting lists from your point of sale and having, you know, an employee at your store analyze it and find avenues to email certain segments based off of brands they bought in the past, whatever it may be, that's how you're going to keep the mind share of your current clientele and make the dollars that you have for marketing go the furthest. If you're going to sit there and you're going to spend all of your marketing budget on these blanket campaigns that don't resonate with any certain percentage of your clientele, every single time you're going to get the same mediocre results, and you're going to think that marketing doesn't work for you anymore, and that's not the case. You just have to have a smarter and more intelligent approach to marketing in 2026, and that's utilizing the data that you so gracefully have gotten over the years on your customers. And at the end of the day, I think another thing that I hear a lot is that people are very fearful to put things in front of their customers. You know, they tell us, like, you know, we promised them that we wouldn't share their data. yada, yada, yada. And I understand that. You want to be a shop, a store that keeps true to their promises, and that makes a lot of sense. But there is ways to market to your current clientele where it's not spammy or not useful in their mind or their eyes, or content that just overall puts a bad feeling in their mouth. You want the content that you post and the campaigns that you create to resonate so well with specific audiences that it's stuff that they want to hear and they keep coming back to hear more. And the only way you do that is by getting in front of these individuals based off of their buying habits that you have the data on. So the best example of this is if you wanted to run a successful email campaign and you were a shoe retailer and you're trying to sell more Brooks, what I would do is I would find a list of every single individual that has bought a Brooks shoe from you but hasn't shopped in the last 2 years. And I would send them an email highlighting the new Brooks SKU that you got in your store or the new color waves and say, hey, we haven't seen you in a while, 10% off a new pair of shoes when you come in, and send that out and see what the response would be. Instead of just sending a blanket mass email to your whole entire clientele talking about Brooks, well, if I'm an individual that likes Asics, I'm just going to throw that email out. And it's going to make me maybe a little bit upset as the customer of yours to be like, well, why did they send me that email? They know I've only bought an Asics from them, right? So I think if people can get in their head that digital marketing does work, but it only works for an independently owned business, forget about just being an independently owned retailer, but an independently owned business, it works if you utilize your data in the right way to have a targeted approach to your marketing. You don't have to have the most money, and quite honestly, you don't have to have a super large budget for marketing either. Just be extremely smart in the way that you spend your ad dollars and make sure that you're having data-driven campaigns that are going to give you data-driven results.
Yeah. And you just made me think of something where, marketing is the most ambiguous thing probably in all of business. When you think about, operations, taking something from A to Z, it's very unambiguous. Mm-hmm. Finance, does it add up? Very unambiguous. These two other constructs of business are very unambiguous. Marketing is did it work? It's did our revenue grow? But that doesn't mean that the marketing campaign worked. It's so ambiguous. And one of the best analogies I've ever heard on this concept is, what is the ROI of a basketball in my hands? It's negative dollars because I'm going to buy the basketball and it cost me $20. I ain't going to make a dime from that basketball. Mm-hmm. But what's the ROI of a basketball in LeBron James's hands? He's a billionaire because of it. Mm-hmm. Same thing. Did the basketball not work? Well, yeah, in my hands because I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
It's like with marketing. It's why I like the frameworks. It's why I like what we do for our clients, because marketing works. In fact, it works so well, it's the only thing that works. Mm. We tend to think marketing today as a Facebook ad. But somebody's saying they had a great experience at your business, that's just, that kind of that first one I gave of a warm, reach out from customer to customer. That's still marketing. What do we call it? Word of mouth marketing. Everything is marketing. So for somebody to say marketing doesn't work, that's because the ROI of that basketball in their hands, they don't know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. To your point, the gold in the backyard, they don't know they have all this data. They don't know what campaigns to make. They don't know how much to spend. They don't know what radius to advertise on. And all of these things, once you do know them, we've had clients that have been with us for years and years and years and years. It's grown and grown and grown their business. But on the data front specifically, it is the thing that gives you, I heard it coined one time in a podcast I was listening to, it's an edge. Mm-hmm. You want to look for, in business, you want to look for edges, things that your competitors don't have. The Brooks Glycerin, yeah, you can get that down the road. That ain't an edge. Mm-hmm. Somebody else has it. But your data that you have on your customers, nobody else has that. Yep. That's an edge in business. Yep. And to your point, whether somebody uses us or not and uses our software to make that happen, you can download it via CSV file and upload it right now in 3 minutes.
Yeah,
like
easy.
it's that easy to use your data. But again, you have to know what to do.
Yeah.
And, like whether people reach out to us or not, I've always said, and like I was talking to a guy yesterday that I've probably talked to, I'd say 8 to 10 times, still hasn't used our services. But he's like, every single time I talk to you, I learn something that advances my business.
Yeah.
And I'll always take the time to talk to people.
Well, and that's what it's all about, man. I think, and that's why we've been here. I mean, brief background on me, I've been working for Kody for 5 years. And like when I started working for Kody, the mission has been the same. It's we're in this space to help independently owned businesses market themselves better and become, the face of their area regarding what they sell. And I mean, we're an independently owned business as well. Mm-hmm. And we have people that we reach out to when we want to get consulting. And I think we want to pay that forward. And at the end of the day, I've had tens of thousands of conversations with independently owned businesses across the country. And the percentage of them that have closed rather than the percentage of them that, have not is I mean, astronomical. I mean, we have a few hundred clients and we do great work for them. And I've talked to tens of thousands of individuals. And the thing that I've probably liked the most about my job is that exact thing, is that I can be there to answer questions, guide people to the right results. And at the end of the day, if I'm not going to be able to close you right now, it's not the end of the world. I want to be here as a resource for the industries that we're in. And I'd also like to mention as well that when you're looking for a place to start, I would always come back to the fundamentals of marketing. And I think one of the biggest things that people miss out on is how important content is, and in today's day and age. And that's one of the big things.
The most important thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's the most important. I mean, that's one of the first things I talk to people about when they reach out and have questions. It's like, forget about everything we do for a second as an agency. If you want to start today with being able to market yourself better as a business, start creating some high quality content.
Yeah.
And it's as easy today than it ever has been in the past. We have, the phone right here that I have in my hand has the ability to create cinematic videos and create these amazing photos where, like I said, when I'm talking to individuals that reach out to us, it's first of all understanding where they're at and meeting them there. And a lot of the time people are at rock bottom when it comes to marketing. They're totally at a loss as to where to start. And that's where I always tell them, it's like, go out, create a ton of content in your store, highlight some employees, highlight the amazing brands you sell.
Well, it's like where we tell people to start.
Yeah.
Because it's like, again, going back to the frameworks, is like there's only one thing you have to do. And this is where I would tell every single person to start, especially local business. Like you said, the people we work with, furniture stores, appliance, jewelry, shoes, apparel, doesn't matter, is every single day, every single month, let's say a month, let's say you have 500 people that stop into your store. Every single person that walks in, they probably shoo you away at the start, but then 30 seconds later, they're like, oh, and they have what? They have a question. Just create content answering those questions and literally have a document that your sales floor team has that every time after, because they have a lot of downtime between the customers, unless your store is jam-packed, which is great. But after they get that, when they get that downtime, just write down those questions. And then have that same person, if it's like, do you have this mattress brand? Somebody walks in to a mattress store. Do you have this mattress brand? Literally create a video talking about that mattress brand and maybe one feature. That's it. It's a 25-second video that we do have this mattress brand.
Yeah.
It's literally that simple.
Yeah.
Because I think part of the reason people don't create content is either A, they don't want to be on video, and you don't have to create video. You can do graphics, but we all know because of TikTok, and they even have the ability to do images now, but video is going to perform the best. But you gotta find somebody on your team hopefully the owner, but find somebody on your team if it's not the owner that wants to be on video and just answer customers' questions.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And I mean, it builds authenticity and credibility. And I mean, that's another key point I wanted to talk about today is I think a lot of the time people are looking for the buzzword or the trend or the next thing that they can attach themselves to that everybody else is doing to try and gain momentum or speed or awareness or clicks or reach or whatever it may be. And I think what I have seen, personally on these platforms and what I've heard from prospects that I talk to on a frequent basis or even our clients is that because there are so many people advertising on Facebook and Instagram and there are so many people posting things, there is an unbelievable amount of BS that people have to sift through to get to the real thing. What is actually true and real and authentic. And when you come across that, you're oftentimes stopped for a second and you're really engaged. And I think if, when I talk to our prospects, one thing I try to get across to them is that when they are creating that content, make sure that it's authentic and real and it builds credibility and trust within your space, because that is what people are looking for at the end of the day. And that is what's going to get them to come in and buy from you rather than the brand directly. That's another edge that we were just talking about. That's another huge edge that an independent retailer has is they have that in-store experience. And most of the time, people love that in-store experience. They've just forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to have this authentic content that really, truly embodies who you are and your businesses as a brand. And I promise you, 9 times out of 10, that's going to resonate in a way where it's going to get more foot traffic into your store. So don't try to attach yourself to these trends and these things. Be who you are as a business, and let that shine through your organic content and your paid advertising that you're doing.
Yeah. Well, and 2 things kind of come to mind. They kind of go together, but there's like this tendency to, especially with the advent of AI, for people always want to know like what's next, what's next. Where I always tell businesses to do this. And I've actually had, well, for example, this guy I was talking to yesterday, one of our clients, it was a referral, one of our clients said, hey, go check your top 10 competitors' Facebook ads library. See if they're running ads. This guy, he literally was so excited because he's like, nobody's doing this. And I'm like, yeah, nobody runs ads, bro. Yeah. Nobody does it. It's insane. Everybody's like, what's next? What's next? What's next? We are almost 20 years, definitely like 15 years into Facebook being mature, but almost 20 years into it existing. It's amazing how many people still don't run an ad around their store. And that idea of like what's next and people chasing like Spotify ads or like advertising, like ChatGPT just updated their privacy policy. I got the email yesterday. They're going to start running ads. Like everybody's going to be like, oh, I need to run ChatGPT ads. It's like, bro, you ain't even running Facebook ads. It's been around 17 years. And the big thing I was going to mention is I remember seeing this longevity economist a couple years ago, and he said people over 55 control 70% of the nation's wealth. So, and those are the individuals on Facebook. If you have to know within an advertising platform, you can't just advertise on Snapchat or TikTok or Facebook or Google or YouTube or LinkedIn. Like, you have to know, where are my customers at? When we talk about like the state of local, that's what you have to ask yourself. It could be in the top 3 questions. I think like yours is where do I start, right? Well, some of those answers are, what is your budget, right? Just like any business, what is your budget? Number 2, where are my customers? Like, where are they at?
Yep.
And then what do they want to see?
Yeah.
I feel like if those were a couple things that you and your team just sat down for an hour or 2 and really strategized, it would be successful, and then just do it for 90 days.
Yeah.
I think everybody too, like especially with marketing, again, like I was saying before with operations versus finance, they want to make it sound fancy. They want to make it sound complex. It's really that simple. Where are your customers at?
Yeah, I would agree. And I think for a lot of people, it's the fear of starting, and it's the fear of just getting into it and deciding, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and working towards that year over year, and just layering on more and more money towards these campaigns and towards the whole entire marketing endeavor you have. And I know one big thing that I hear all the time is, James, how do I get the younger generation to start shopping with me? Because a lot of these businesses we work with are legacy businesses. I mean, they've been handed down from generation to generation, and they have to figure out a way to get the younger crowd to shop with them and not with the brands directly. And that is a big problem that I'd say across the board, no matter if you're a jewelry store or a shoe store, people are facing that. How do I get the younger crowd into my store? And I'm from a younger generation, so are you. So is almost everybody here at Omni Digital Group. And I think that's one of the great things about our company is that we understand what our generation wants to see and hear. And at the end of the day, our generation is on these platforms. They are. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on Google, and they're using it virtually every single day of every single hour of every single day for something that they need. So if you want to grow your store with the times and get more of this younger generation that is getting out of college into their late 20s, early 30s, starting to have a family, you need to be present on these platforms. And that's why, kind of finishing off to what you were saying a second ago, where I was like, you just need to start. You need to get over the fear of losing out on money, because let me break it to you right now. You're going to lose money when you do this stuff. It's going to happen. You're not going to succeed every single time. You're not going to have one campaign that's going to bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars. But you need to start somewhere, and you need to keep layering on brick by brick as you go on, and you will start to get better. I heard it, believe it or not, I heard this quote from a prospect that I was talking to, and I use it all the time now. It's like in the early 2000s when they had those infomercials about like, get a six-pack in 30 days. It's like, well, dude, if you didn't have a six-pack on day one, you're not going to have it by day 30. And people need to get out of their head that this is an instantaneous thing. It's not. You need to start, and you need to build from, even if you have $0, you need to build from there, and you need to keep going as time goes on, and you need to keep getting more targeted. You need to keep creating authentic content. You need to understand that the growth of your business is within the population and the younger age population, and you need to be in front of those individuals on a consistent basis to grow with the times. And I think a lot of the time, like I said, I think it's a fear thing for people. I think it's a scary avenue to go down because it's so unknown and it's so complex. But at the end of the day, that's what I think I'm here for. That's what you're here for, to simplify it for people and make them understand, hey, it's actually not that complicated if you do these core things. And those core things are just what Kody said a second ago. And I think it'd be valid for you to repeat them again,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, because where you start with any marketing initiative is how much are you going to spend? Because you're going to have to spend something, whether that's ad spend or having employees do something or bringing in like a video team, even if it's just going to be organic content. Like, you're not going to put paid ads, like money behind the ads. It's just going to go, for free on the platforms. You're going to have to spend something. So coming up with a budget, because then everything will kind of trickle down from there. Where are my customers at? Like, where are they at? Are they on Facebook? Are they on TikTok? Are they on Snapchat? Are they on YouTube? Are they receiving direct mail and actually responding to that? Are they responding to email very heavily, text message? Like, those are the platforms. It's social media, it's streaming, it's Google, and it's email text. That's it. That's what you have to choose from. Because paper, radio, TV, I heard it put this way one time. It's ROI, return on investment. The lower your investment is and the higher money you make, the higher your total return. So if you're putting in $1,000 into Facebook versus direct mail, you reach 15 times as many people. So therefore, that return has the ability to be higher on that investment, it rises. So it's not a question of, like, I would never argue with somebody like, oh, I think paper works, Kody. It's like, that's because it does.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't work as well, so your spend on it is more.
Yeah.
But I digress. But it's where are your customers at, and then what are you going to show them?
Yeah.
Like, and then what defined period of time are you going to run those campaigns?
Yeah.
So what are you going to spend? Where are my customers at? What platforms? What am I going to show them? Graphics or videos? And then how long am I going to run that particular campaign? Like if you're going to do a $15 off and the owner's like, this weekend we're going to do $15 off shoes, it's for a weekend. If for this month we're going to feature this brand and we're going to really go heavy with graphics and videos on this one brand, maybe that goes for 30 days. Maybe you do a category for a whole quarter. Like that's where you can do like those longevity, how long the campaign runs. But it's only those 4 things. And that gets, I remember explaining that to one of our longtime clients, and she was like, that's really helpful. Because I think that's the number one thing of why people don't start anything, but specifically marketing, is they don't have a plan.
Yeah.
Like if you go to the gym, it's going to be very daunting if like, am I doing back today, lower body, upper body, arms? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. If you know I'm doing arms today, then you do arms and you do 5 exercises. Golden.
Yeah.
So you have to know those 4 things in marketing, and that puts you probably at least 90% of the way there.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And one of the last thoughts that I have, and I kind of leave the audience with this is if you have people reaching out to you, or I know I know for a fact that these owners have tons of people reaching out to them to sell them X, Y, and Z. When it comes to digital marketing, if people are coming to you with a temporary solution that doesn't cost a lot of money, it's fake, it won't work, and you're going to waste your money. If you want to be successful in a major way on these platforms, you are going to have to make an investment, and you're going to have to realize that the spend needs to be high in order to see the results that you want to see.
And you have to be able to track it.
Exactly.
Like
you have to be
At
able
the end
to
of the
track
day, it's tracking. And I don't say that just because we have a software that does that, because there's a million different ways to track your marketing.
Yeah.
Like even like what I just said, if you're featuring a specific brand for a month and last year it was 20% of your sales and this year it was 30% of your sales, well, it worked.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need anything else besides your point of sale data to know that. But the tracking, like if a marketing company is calling you, literally ask them one question. Can you track my return on ad spend and tell me for every dollar I put in, how much do I get back out? If they say no, politely hang up the phone and go on with your day.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I think, another thing for people to realize as well is something that you can do today. If you're like, wow, this was a lot. This is a lot of great things that Kody and James are talking about, but this is a lot. I don't necessarily even have a budget allocated yet. I don't have the content yet. I don't even have, an individual in my store that can do all this for me, the organic posting, the paid ads, yada, yada, yada. The one thing I would look at right away is the state of your social media pages and your website. At the end of the day, when you start to do this marketing, you're going to need to lead them somewhere, and they're going to need to be able to learn more about you, your business, the products you sell, X, Y, and Z. You're going to have to lead these individuals somewhere before they make the decision themselves to come in and buy. The likelihood of them going to one of your pages, your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or website is really high. So if you want to be successful in this, there's a few things that you could do to start off right away. Make your website look awesome. Make it look authentic, credible. Put your products on there. At the end of the day, most of our clients do less than 5% of their revenue on e-commerce. So e-commerce is a topic for another day. But what I would say is have your products on your website so people can look through and see the prices. Have a catalog. Have those kind of things on there. And make sure that you're going to be able to give them all the information that they need to make that educated purchase and come into your store and buy from you. And that's one thing you can do right away. The second thing that you can do right away with zero money is pull out your iPhone and start shooting some content. Go ahead and get content on your top brands, employee spotlights, your location, do a brand awareness content shoot where you're getting this content that shows and embodies who you guys are as a brand. And then after that is done, what I would say is I would start dabbling in a consistent nature on your organic side of posting. So get consistent with doing 3 or 4 posts a week and see the engagement that you get. And then as you get comfortable with that posting schedule, I would then, this is another step you can do right away with no money. Like Kody said earlier, download a CSV file of your data. Look at it. Take some time to splice it and dice it and get it into these segments that you can use to then go market. Then the 4th step, still not even any money yet. Upload those audiences onto Facebook. And then use that content that you shot to develop a great campaign. And that's when you start to spend the money. And what I would suggest to people, if you want to get good results, I'm not saying great results off the bat, but good results, do all those steps, make the campaign, and put $1,000 towards that campaign. And at the end of the month, switch it out, do another one, spend another $1,000. And as you start to see the results, and again, like Kody said, you're going to want to have an ability to track these sales. Keep incrementally adding more and spend, and eventually you're going to get to a point where these campaigns are performing really well and you're spending a healthy amount on these platforms and you're consistent over a long period of time and you're staying in front of your customers and they're remembering who you are and you're getting more foot traffic into your stores. So those are a lot of things that you can do right now to set yourself up for success. And then when you get to a point where you feel like it's too much, that's when you would want to reach out to an individual that you can hire into your store or an agency like us to then help you fulfill that consistency over a long period of time. And I think that's a really good track that I think when you simplify it like that, it makes it easy for a business to say, okay, I can do those 4 or 5 things. I mean, that doesn't take me too much time. I don't have to spend any money to do it. And when I'm ready to spend the money, I have the assets and I know what to do.
Yeah. And we do have the final thing I would say is, like, genuinely, if you're a local business watching or listening to this right now and you have any questions on marketing, just book a call with us. Like, literally just book a call.
Yeah.
Free of charge. We'll answer all of your questions, even if you never hire us. Literally just want to be here as a resource for local businesses. And then we do have a guide on our website that outlines what I think is the 5 top things to do as a local business to grow as a guide for online and in-store. So do those 2 things. Really appreciate you today, James. Any final parting words?
I mean, I think you said it best. Like, give me a call at 6 a.m., give me a call at 9 p.m. I'm always going to answer.
Hands on it.
I'm always going to answer. I'm always going to give you my honest opinion. I'm never going to hard sell you. I'm just here to help. And at the end of the day, having conversations with you folks that are listening helps me become a better individual within the walls of Omni, but just in life in general. And I love having conversations with people and just talking about, what you can do right now to help your business grow. That's what I'm put here to do. That's my job. And I want to have more conversations. So please, give me a call at any time, and I'd love to chat with you.
Love it. That's all for this episode of the Local Growth Show. James, thank you very much, man.
Sayonara.